A top story in troubling news from Manipur. Fresh violence has claimed at least 3 lives, including of a woman. 2 others were injured in this attack by suspected insurgents in the Kokan village, the army sources have said, and the suspected militants and victims belong to different communities. Meanwhile, the CBI has registered 6 FIRs and formed a special investigation team to probe the alleged conspiracy behind the ethnic clashes in Manipur and the reasons for the violence. But let's talk about this latest incident that has taken place. Let's go across to Saurabh Gupta now for more. And Saurabh, very disturbingly, these alleged, militants arrived or insurgents arrived there wearing army fatigues, and that's why villagers were confused.
That's right. Very disturbing news coming in where 3 people have died in Kokin village. Now, where is this place located? This is located on the boundary areas between Kangpokpi district and Imphal West district. Now, like we've been reporting all through this Manipur conflict, just like the politics in Manipur, which is often played out along the differences between the valley and the hill areas, this ethnic violence too in the state has played out as the distance between the valley and the hill areas have increased. And Kangpokpi is, of course, in the hills, and it is a place that the Union Home Minister Amit Shah also visited during his 3-day visit to Manipur. And of course, at this point, we also know that a statement has been issued by the ITLF, the Indigenous Tribal Leaders Forum, that said that this is utter disregard shown by the militants. They also say the incident also violated the peace process that was called by the Union Home Minister Amit Shah. We urge upon the authorities to take decisive actions against the militants. This is the ITLF statement. Now, residents say that these people came in army fatigues or military fatigues, and additional columns of the army and paramilitary forces have been deployed to control the situation in Kokin village. Now, alongside, there is also a CBI probe. The CBI has registered 6 FIRs. This was, of course, in line with the announcement the Union Home Minister Amit Shah made in Manipur. He had said that the conspiracy cases will be probed by the CBI. 6 FIRs have been registered. In that context, the CBI, of course, will investigate these cases. Alongside that, there is also more news from Manipur, and that is, of course, the centre has announced aid, and this aid, of course, is 101.75 crores relief package for the people of Manipur who've been displaced. Remember, because of the ethnic violence that's gone on for over a month now, including the internet suspension in the state that's gone on for over a month now, several people are displaced. They're living in camps, and this relief package is aimed at easing the lives of these people who have been displaced from their homes, and this package has been announced by the Union Home Ministry as well. And the last point is that the NEDA chairman and the Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma may be visiting Manipur, and he's likely to hold talks with the Chief Minister and Manipur MLAs as well.
All right, Saurabh, thanks so much for joining us there with all the latest. In other news, the Delhi police today took one of the women wrestlers, one of those who were protesting, to the Wrestling Federation of India President Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh's official residence in Delhi. Sources say this was done to recreate the sequence of events that led to the sexual harassment of which he has been accused. The wrestler was accompanied by women personnel there. Now, remember, the protesting wrestlers on Wednesday had met the Sports Minister Anurag Thakur. They had agreed to suspend their agitation till the 15th of June after he assured them that a charge sheet against Singh will be filed by then. But let's go across to Tanushri for more on this. And Tanushri, it sounds very curious to take, a victim of molestation to the scene of the crime. What was the police trying to achieve? If you can tell us more about this.
That's right. Delhi police on Friday took one of the female wrestlers to WFI chief Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh's official residence in the national capital, and this was a part of the investigation by the special investigation team of the Delhi police. This was done to recreate the crime scene and to get the complainant into the case to recall the places where she was allegedly sexually harassed. Now, in all likelihood, the special investigation team is going to submit its investigation report to the court by next week, and that's why the investigation has now been expedited by the Delhi police. And this the recreation went on for about half an hour. The female wrestlers was of course accompanied by constables by female constables of the Delhi police, and one can only hope that it was done in the most sensitive manner, because many people were also seeing this taking a victim to his or her culprit's place. It was seen as insensitive by many people, but Delhi police says that since this case has all the media attention, it has gone on for a long time, and the wrestlers who were protesting, they have promised Anurag Thakur last week that they are not going to protest till the 15th of June, provided that action is being taken against Brij Bhushan. So there is a lot of pressure on the investigation agencies, and that's why they are saying that the female wrestler was taken to the official residence so that a recreation of the crime scene can be done, and it was done in the most sensitive manner. And while it was being done, there were female officers, all the protocols were followed, and they are saying that it's just a part of the investigation. Back to you.
All right, one hopes it was very sensitively handled. Thanks so much, Tanushree, for joining us with the latest there. News now from Jharkhand, and at least 3 people, including a child, were killed, many fear trapped, when an illegally operated coal mine collapsed. While efforts are on to pull out others who may be trapped, 5 people were rushed to nearby hospitals. 3 people, a child, a woman and a 25-year-old man, were declared dead. Now, illegal mining is a widespread problem in this area where many larger mines operate.
A disaster at the periphery of this abandoned coal mine in Jharkhand's Dhanbad. After portions of this rock collapsed on a group of people carrying out illegal mining operations inside. Illegal mines like this one are a common sight across Dhanbad and other areas that form Jharkhand's coal belt, but are fraught with danger. Most illegal mining takes place under extremely unsafe conditions and is often done by the poorest of the poor, who work barehanded in death traps like this one.
माइंस वाले को जाकर अभी हम लोग बोले तो माइंस बंद किया गया है, और इस पे हम यही कार्रवाई करने के चाहते हैं प्रशासन से। यहाँ के जितने भी कोयला का चोर है जो रोज तस्लीली करते हैं, उस पे अविलंब FIR दर्ज हो। FIR दर्ज नहीं होगा तो हम लोग रोड से लेकर थाना तक जान पड़ेंगे।
हमारा OP अंतर्गत पड़ता है ये, और जैसा कि लग रहा है कि अवैध उत्खनन लोग कर रहा है यहाँ पर, उसे अभी भराई कराया गया है, अभी जांच में है। हम लोग जांच करके आप लोगों को स्पष्ट कर देंगे।
The first responders to the scene were local residents who pulled out people from the debris and rushed them to hospital. With Alok Pandey, Usama Shab, NDTV.
News now on the Mumbai case, and Saraswati, Vaidya and Manoj, Sane, the man accused of killing her, chopping up her body and boiling parts of it in their Mumbai home, were married, is what the police have revealed today as new details emerged on the gruesome murder. Saraswati, who is 32 years old, was in touch with her 4 sisters, 3 of whom were questioned today by the police, and they were the ones to tell the police that the 2 were married.
A shocking new twist to the Shraddha Walkar-like murder case near Mumbai. The police today claimed the victim, Saraswati Vaidya, and the accused, Manoj Sane, were married and had hidden their marriage due to their age gap. Saraswati was 32, Manoj is 56. The police said Saraswati used to tell people that Manoj was her maternal uncle and he owned a cloth mill in Mumbai.
इन्वेस्टिगेशन में ऐसा पता चला कि इन्होंने शादी किया था और बहनों को भी बताया था कि ऐसे हमने शादी किया है, बल्कि इनकी एज डिफरेंस का गैप की वजह से ये किसी को मतलब बाहर ऐसा खुल के नहीं कभी बताया कि हमने इन लोगों ने शादी किया था, और ये एक मंदिर में शादी किया था, ये भी इन्वेस्टिगेशन में रिवील हुआ है.
Saraswati was in touch with her 4 sisters, 3 of whom were questioned today by the police. Police sources told NDTV Saraswati grew up at an ashram in the Ahmednagar district. Her mother died early and the father abandoned the children. She lived with her sisters for a few years before moving to Mumbai, where she met her alleged killer at a ration shop in Borivali. The 2 became friends and Sane got her a job. Later, he let her stay at his home. The 2 kept to themselves when they moved into an apartment in the peripheral Mumbai suburbs 3 years ago and used to visit the Ahmednagar ashram regularly.
पहले आई थी ना तो बहुत अच्छे अच्छे कपड़े पहन के आई थी, वो आदमी उसको वाइट गाड़ी में लेके आता था, उसके साथ ही रहता था, लेकिन 2 साल पहले आई थी ना दाखिले के संदर्भ में, तो बहुत खराब लग रही थी। उसने हमारे बातचीत नहीं की, उसका क्या वजह था हमको मालूम।
Saraswati Vaidya was killed on Sunday, allegedly after a fight. Sane claimed to the police that she died after consuming poison and he panicked. And so he chopped up her body to dispose it off. The police suspect he was lying to cover up the crime. With Sohit Mishra and Sunil Singh, Bureau Report, NDTV.
And staying with news from Maharashtra, politics over the recent violence that broke out in Kolhapur after right-wing groups protested over social media posts praising Aurangzeb. Now, Shiv Sena Uddhav Thackeray MP Sanjay Raut alleged that outsiders were brought in to create trouble in Kolhapur and that the government is politicizing the matter ahead of elections, while the Shinde Shiv Sena said the social media post hurt sentiments.
Political slugfest over violent clashes in Maharashtra's Kolhapur on Wednesday over social media posts on Aurangzeb. Now, as war of words has begun in the state politics, Shiv Sena Uddhav MP Sanjay Raut has alleged that outsiders were brought in to create trouble in Kolhapur and that the government is politicizing the matter ahead of elections.
सरकार को जिम्मेदार ठहराऊंगा मैं, इस राज्य के गृह मंत्रालय को ठहराऊंगा, मुख्यमंत्री को ठहराऊंगा। जिस तरह से कोल्हापुर हो, नगर हो या और शहरों में जिस प्रकार से दंगे भड़के हैं या भड़काए गए हैं, उसके पीछे कौन है? औरंगजेब के नाम से 400 साल बाद भी इस महाराष्ट्र में दंगे होते हैं कि कर्नाटक में बजरंग बली की जादू नहीं चली, तो आप औरंगजेब को लेकर यहाँ राजनीति करते हो, तो जिम्मेदार कौन है?
The Home Ministry is also being questioned by the opposition for allowing such a large crowd to gather on the road. According to Dhairyashil Mane, the local MP of Kolhapur from Shiv Sena Shinde faction, people came on the streets as their sentiments were hurt. He also accused the opposition of doing politics.
कोल्हापुर जिला एक ऐसा जिला है जो शिव प्रेमी है, घर घर में शिवाजी महाराज है, हर एक के हृदय में शिवाजी महाराज है, और उस जिले में अगर आप औरंगजेब का कुछ भी अनुकरण करने का या उसका उदात्तीकरण करने का काम करेंगे तो उसको प्रतिकार होगा ही, और वही उस दिन।
After the violence in Kolhapur, the police have so far arrested 36 people and have also taken action against those who posted on social media. There is heavy police security, but situation is under control, according to them. But there is no end to the politics around this issue. With Sanjay Mandal and Sohit Mishra, Sneha Koshi for NDTV.
And NCP's Supriya Sule today alleged that she received a threat message on her WhatsApp for her father, Sharad Pawar. She slammed this as low-level politics. A delegation of NCP workers led by Ms. Sule met Mumbai Police Chief Vivek Fansalkar demanding action. Later, she told the media, I received a message on WhatsApp for Pawar Sahib. He has been threatened through a website, so I have come to the police demanding justice. I urge Maharashtra Home Minister and Union Home Minister, such actions are low-level politics and this should stop. News now from Karnataka, where the Congress government is looking at ways to review or undo changes to textbooks brought in by the earlier BJP government, though the government has made it clear that the printed books will not be withdrawn. It says a separate booklet perhaps will be sent to all schools, which may have new chapters along with guidelines. The BJP, however, has threatened a protest if chapters related to Veer Savarkar and RSS founder Hedgewar are removed or edited.
Class 1 to 10 school textbooks remain the focus of a political exchange in Karnataka. Congress leader B.K. Hariprasad's comments questioning a chapter on RSS founder Hedgewar as a freedom fighter was the latest flashpoint in a Congress versus BJP battle.
ಭಾರತೀಯ ಜನತಾ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಯವರಾಗಲಿ ಸಂಘ ಪರಿವಾರದವರಾಗಲಿ ಹೆಡ್ಗೆವಾರ್ ಅವರು ಸ್ವತಂತ್ರ ಹೋರಾಟಗಾರರಂದ್ರೆ ಅವರು ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷರಿಗೆ ಕ್ಷಮಾಪಣೆ ಪತ್ರ 6 ಬಾರಿ ಯಾಕೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟರು ಅಂತ ಅವರು ಬಹಳ ಸ್ಪಷ್ಟವಾಗಿ ಹೇಳಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅವರದೇ ಆದ ग्रंथಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ, चित्रगुप्ता ಅಂತ ಅವರೇ ಬರ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದರಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
It's absolutely wrong. ये उनका एक तरह से नियत है, उनका DNA है कि they want to write off whatever out of history whoever is not part of their dynasty. ये तो उनका एक तरह से एक repeated behavior है ना इनका. हेगडेवार जी के बारे में एक तो इरेज करना या गलत misinformation create करना एक तरह से it is doing a huge disservice. It is a crime against the people of India, the crime against the youth of India.
The issue of inclusion of the chapter on Hedgewar in the textbooks had erupted soon after earlier BJP government took the decision. Along with this chapter, there were other glaring omissions and errors, including on the way the father of the constitution was referred to, or even the reference to revered social reformer Basavanna. Some of these were corrected, but not all. Once the Congress came to power, writers and activists demanded that these changes be undone. According to the state's education minister Madhu Bangarappa, the government will not withdraw the books printed for this year. Rather, a guideline booklet related to which chapters should be taught in these books and which should not be, which will also include if new chapters are added, will be issued. The technical committee is reviewing the syllabus. The recommendation of that committee will be placed before the cabinet this month. The guidelines will be issued only after getting approval from the state cabinet.
One thing I want to make it clear to all the children and even parents also, through all your medias also, and for you also, that this process has been done in the interest of children's future. That is number one.
It's a sensitive issue, and Chief Minister Siddaramaiah has reportedly told ministers and Congress leaders not to make statements that could fuel the controversy. In fact, only yesterday, he's learned to have expressed his displeasure to the state's animal husbandry minister, whose comments on the anti-cow slaughter legislation led to protests by the BJP.
The Congress in its poll manifesto had promised to undo changes made to school textbooks when the BJP was in power. Now the process has begun. In Bangalore, with camera person Govind Murthy, Nihal Khidwai for NDTV.
Now, the big news in the US, former US President Donald Trump has been charged over his handling of classified documents after he left the White House. Trump faces 7 charges, including mishandling classified documents and obstructing efforts to investigate. Though legal experts say the indictment, the second time he's been charged with a crime, does not prevent him from running for the presidency again.
I'm an innocent man. I'm an innocent person.
The first time the US Justice Department has brought federal charges against a former president.
Yes, I did.
Donald Trump has been indicted for storing dozens of classified documents at his Florida resort and refusing to return them to the FBI and the National Archives.
And yet they go after a popular president, a president that got more votes than any sitting president in the history of our country, by far.
But what exactly are the charges against him? Well, he has been charged with 7 crimes, including willful retention of documents in violation of the Espionage Act, making false statements, withholding a document or record, and corruptly concealing a document or record. While Trump has been summoned to appear in federal court in Miami on Tuesday, Ron DeSantis is already finding himself defending his chief rival, while fellow Republican presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy says if he is elected, he will pardon Trump. Joe Biden dismissed suggestions that a potential indictment of his top 2024 rival by the Justice Department would be politically motivated, claiming he was honest.
Mr. President, what do you say to Americans to convince them that they should trust the independence and fairness of the Justice Department when your predecessor, Donald Trump, repeatedly attacks it?
Because you notice, I have never once, not one single time, suggested to the Justice Department what they should do or not do relative to bringing a charge or not bringing a charge. I'm honest.
But the other big question we're getting is, does a federal indictment prevent Donald Trump from running for president? Well, the United States Constitution does not explicitly prohibit anyone who has been indicted, convicted of a crime, or is currently serving prison time from running for the presidency. This means that in theory, anyone could be elected the president of the United States, regardless of their criminal history. However, there's no clear guidance in the US Constitution on what should happen if such a person wins. One of the biggest unanswered questions remains why Trump would keep government secrets even as he faced increasing legal threats to give them back. Investigators claim Trump may have simply believed the documents were his to keep. Parmeshwar Bava for NDTV.
Now, in very worrying news for Indians, India is sitting on a diabetes time bomb. There's a very worrying report by Lancet that says a whopping 11% of India has diabetes, and that means around 100 million Indians. India needs to be ready to tackle this huge challenge. Now, according to a startling report by Wall Street Journal, researchers in the US found that photo-sharing platform Instagram was found to be promoting an extensive network of pedophile content and allowed users to search for child sex through certain hashtags. Now, Meta, the parent company, has responded to this report and promised to better its systems.
A report has highlighted that Instagram is the most important platform for child sex abuse networks. Here are the details. This investigation is done by Wall Street Journal and researchers at Stanford University and the University of Massachusetts Amherst. The biggest finding, Instagram's algorithms links and promotes vast pedophile network. But how? The investigation found that Instagram allowed users to search hashtags related to child sex abuse. These hashtags led users to accounts that offered to sell pedophilic materials and even had videos of children harming themselves. But why is it alarming? An app, a platform, should be restricting these search queries like these. The fact that users can search and can get connected to accounts involved in questionable behavior is a big concern. This is what a Meta spokesperson told NDTV in response. We are committed to continuing our work to protect teens. Between 2020 and 2022, our teams dismantled 27 abusive networks, and in January 2023, we disabled more than 490,000 accounts for violating our child safety policies. As of Q4 2022, our technology removed over 34 million pieces of child sexual exploitation content from Facebook and Instagram, over 98% of which we found before it was reported to us. The report comes at a time when Meta and other social media platforms face scrutiny over their efforts to prevent the spread of abusive content on their platforms. Arun Singh for NDTV.